It's vegan recipes with Pat and Emily.
Hi, thanks for stopping by today on It's Vegan. We are going to make a vegan eggplant rollatini with cashew ricotta. And we're also going to make the sauce. So for this, you're going to want to start by shredding your carrots very small. Put them in a pot with about 1/4 cup of water and just get this cooking straight off because we want these to cook down until they are like basically nothing. So I'm going to get that started and then we'll come back and get started on the eggplant. I got the carrots on the stove and I turned the oven on to 400 degrees to preheat. Now we are going to, at this point I would usually prep the rest of the vegetables for the sauce, but I already have that done. So we are going to get our eggplants ready. We want these to be sliced to about 1/4 of an inch thick. I find it's easier if you score it a little bit before you try to cut it. And if they're not perfect, it won't matter.
But if you're looking for perfection, use a mandolin.
Good point. Using a bigger knife when you're doing this definitely makes it easier. And for the last piece, you're going to want to cut off that little bit of skin on the end to leave you with a really tough rollatini. Oop. So we are going to lay these out on parchment, salt and pepper them. We're going to have to use 2 trays here. And do both sides. I'm going to cut up this other eggplant and get it out on this sheet and then we'll be right back. I have all of my eggplant cut up and I'm going to throw in one of these end pieces. If I am just making this for myself, I will eat these. If I was serving this to guests, I would probably not use these end pieces. I have them all sliced up, salt and peppered on both sides. I have them on silicone mats, not parchment paper, because we can reuse these. They're going to go in the oven for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to flip them and put them back in for another 15. We'll be right back to make our cashew ricotta filling. Now we are going to make the cashew ricotta. I have a cup of cashews that have soaked overnight and been rinsed. Put that into a food processor. To that, we're going to add lemon juice, some miso, and some salt. And we're going to add sundried tomatoes and basil also, but I am first going to blend this up. And for the sundried tomatoes, you are going to want to chop them. They do not really chop up in the food processor. For this, you do not want this to get super smooth because it's like a ricotta. So we are going to leave it a little chunky. A few pieces that are too big. Alright, that looks good. It's all crumbled up, but it's not turning into a paste yet. So then we're going to throw in our sun-dried tomatoes and our fresh basil and blend this all together. Oops. One more spin, I think. Oh, and I still have my carrots cooking back there. I'm going to have to check those in a minute. Alright, this is ready to go. So I am going to just leave this in here, but I'm going to check on my carrots and see how those are doing. Right, the carrots are cooked down pretty well here. You want to have them so you can mash them up with your spoon. You want them really soft. So then to this, we are going to add our tomatoes and our zucchini. I'm going to return this to the stove and let it cook down a little bit more. Also to the sauce at this point, you want to add all the herbs and the bay leaf to it. The eggplant has been in the oven for 15 minutes. I just pulled it out to flip it. Then it's going to go back in for another 15 minutes. Get these back in, I'll be back. The sauce has boiled for a couple minutes, so now I'm going to salt and pepper it to taste. And I'm going to add our onions and green peppers. Then I'm going to return it to the stove to cook a little while. And our eggplant should be done any second, actually. So then we will start filling our eggplant. Oh, there it is. I'll pull that out of the oven and we'll get started. The sauce is ready, the eggplant is ready, the filling is ready. So now we're ready to roll it up. To start, I am going to put about half of our sauce in the bottom of a baking dish. You're still going to want to have the oven on for this. That looks good. I'll put this back on the stove. These are nice and soft. Then we are going to portion our filling out. I'm going to put it on the fat end and kind of make it stick together a little bit. I like to portion it all out before I start rolling them so I can adjust my filling if I need to. And if you do decide to use the end piece, you're going to want to roll it on the outside of it. And I have another tray over here I need to do still. I put the filling out on them to make sure I had enough for all of them. Now I'm going to roll them up and set them down into our sauce. This is our little end piece one. It's just going to be a little tougher to cut up and chew. We're just going to sit them in here as tight as we can get them. Starts to pull out the end, you just kind of pack that filling together. It will kind of stick to itself. And when you roll them up, you want to sit them with like the tab down, so to say. Shout out to the Hope Street Church Mothers and Jason. It's a friend of mine. It's got a band. Now that we have these all rolled up in here, I'm going to put some more sauce down the top of them. If you come across that bay leaf, you're going to want to take that out. I like to try to do it so it's like a line down the top of them. I just think it looks nice. And this is a very rustic, chunky sauce. If you're in a hurry or not into that, you can use whatever kind of sauce out of a jar that you like. Now that this is done, we're going to put it back in the oven for about 15 minutes. Let everything cook together. And we're turning the oven down to 350 for this. We'll be back when it's done. Our 10 minutes is up and we are ready to eat this finally. I can't wait.
Get one of these out of here.
Sauce on there. I might need a knife to cut this. It's definitely easy to eat a whole pan of this at one sitting. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Subscribe. It's just supposed to be a taste test, but I can't stop. You can like mash them up.
Go, okay.